Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
David, welcome to Popternative. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Does it sometimes, specifically with Mythic Quest, feel like you're working on two shows where one regard it's about video games and the other regard it's not about video games at all? I always thought that interesting when I watched the show.
Well, what's fun and challenging about the show is that it's sometimes it feels like we are the show, whether we're offset or on set. Like whether like it's David in the room, playing middleman, or Ian or Rob with a vision, or Megan having an issue with Rob's vision, and all this. It's a fun sort of duality where we're in parallel universes.
For you specifically, did you know you were going to work behind and on camera as well in the entertainment realm, or did it kind of just happen?
Well, young David was pretty sure he was going to be a waiter at a barbecue place for the rest of his life. So anything on top of that is golden. No, I always thought, I went to school for acting and thought I would just always be an actor. But you know how it is when you make a plan. And I think along the way just found like, oh, I like being creative, whether it's writing or acting, or I enjoy drawing, those sort of things I like. I directed an episode this season. I enjoy the creative aspect of it. So I think in a way, looking back, it was just an extension of that. And it's always been a bit of a challenge because writing is hard, but it's been a good challenge. And so, it's been fulfilling.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because we can kind of segue that to my next question. I mean, plans and everything. A lot of characters going into season 3, there's a lot of characters that have plans and think they have everything figured out. And at the end of season 2, like, maybe they don't have it figured out and everything. What is that mindset from a writing perspective where you have all these characters that now have to do a lot of figuring out, have to do a lot of like self-reflection, and are kind of thrown in kind of new situations where they might or might not be comfortable? Is that fun from a writing perspective as well as being challenging?
Absolutely. I mean, do you juggle? It's a lot like juggling. You have, you have like, the more balls you have, the harder it is to, keep them in the air in some sense. And you have to decide, which ones to prioritize at which episode. And, it's in a way, it has its own rhythm. Like, well, we just did that for this character. Let's focus a little bit more on this character. So, you want to feed all of the characters. It's like wide receivers, you got to feed all the receivers, otherwise they get upset. But no, it's a great challenge, and we have a deep bench here, which has been good. And this season we have Carol come a little bit more into the story. Naomi, who's so funny, and she's a writer on the show now, and it's the fun challenge that we have.
Why do you think the workplace comedy is so appealing to an audience, in your opinion? Is it just as simple as saying people just love to see all these different personalities kind of connect with each other? Like, is there anything else specifically you've like learned from the workplace comedy specifically?
I mean, the workplace is a family. It's just another version of a family, and people have to work together. And I think you want to show, in a way, an idealized version of what a family is. There's struggles, but at the end of the day, they care for each other, or through those struggles, they're becoming closer, whether they like it or not, all the time. I think it's just accessible, another way to present a version of a family.
Yep.
And characters that we can see ourselves in, hopefully.
Absolutely. Season 3 of Mythic Quest is going to be premiering on Apple TV Plus November 11th. Thank you so much for your time. It was so great chatting with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.